Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So, during the course of this week, Blizzard are putting out the Legion class previews. And yesterday, they did it for my beloved, which is the Warlock class. Now, I've been through the details once, twice, 3 times a lady. And I can tell you for now, I'm really excited for what they're trying to do. I really like the idea of what they're trying to do. So just to give you a very brief overview, if you've heard anything about Legion so far, the one thing that you might have heard is that Blizzard are attempting to bring back class distinction. They're trying to get away from that homogenization which has plagued the game for a long amount of time now, and what they're trying to do is they're getting that unique snowflake feel that we all want. I mean, that's half the reason why a lot of us picked our classes, because it was based off what that class specifically does. So when everybody starts to get everybody else's spells and feels, etc., it kind of gets a little bit dull, a little bit boring. You're thinking, why do I have to play this when I could simply play that? Because they have stronger armor now, but essentially do the same. Yada, yada, yada. So, one spec to me, which has had a bit of a rough ride the last few years, is Affliction. Not necessarily damage-wise, but in the sense that it completely lost its identity. When I started playing the game 8.5 years ago, I used to love to play Affliction, and I played it for numerous years because I just loved the ideal of it. Dotting up your enemies and watching them crumble to dust, ticking away slowly, eating them inside, and then just watching them melt on the floor. It was an awesome kind of idea. But over the course of time, that all got lost. And then we had like the malefic grasps and the haunts coming in, and the drained souls at certain times. And it just became, the focus didn't really become the dots. It just became like a dot management, and then it was everything else that you had to really focus on. When to use Malefic Grasp, when to use Drain Soul, when to get my Haunt on. And I think that kind of hurt the class. I think it took a lot away from the uniqueness of the Affliction class. So, come Legion, they're all gone. That's all gone. By the looks of it, Haunt's gone, Drain Soul's gone, Malefic Grasp, that's not coming back, and that's not merging, and things like that. All kind of gone now. And the emphasis is very much back on to dots dealing much more damage. And then literally the only filler spell to go alongside it is your Drained Life. So you've got your Corruption and your Agonies, which kind of go over the respective normal time frame, 14 seconds, 18 seconds. And then you've got Unstable Affliction, which is doing all its damage over 8 seconds. So that's your big, powerful dot. That's your massive, massive dot. So you've got to absolutely make sure that you maintain that. You've got your Drained Life. And now we're getting some new skills which are coming in. And if you decide to pick one, for instance, this Contagion, after you've cast Unstable Affliction, you can cast a second one for free within 3 seconds of it. So bang, bang. So that's quite interesting, because if it's for free, does that mean we're definitely going to have to be managing our mana more? Also, what it is saying, though, is multi-dot. We're back to the multi-dot spec. You need to get as many dots on as many things as humanly possible. So that will start eating up your manas. If you look at how much they cost, 3% mana for a Corruption, 3% mana for an Agony, but an Unstable Affliction, it's using Soul Shards instead, because Soul Shards is going to be the resource now across every spec. So I really like the feel of Affliction now. It's probably going to tempt me to have another crack at this, because I really like the idea of powerful dots again, with only like one singular filler with Drained Life here. So bring that one on. But the one I was really looking forward to having a look at was Demonology. And the reason why is Demonology is undergoing a massive change. If you haven't already heard, and this might upset some demonologists, you're losing Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is being removed from the spec. Now, I fully understand why they do this, because Metamorphosis has always been a demon hunter thing. It hasn't really been a warlock thing. But because there wasn't a demon hunter class in the game, that's how they kind of worked it in. Well, we can get it in here. We'll get it for demonology warlocks. So that's going, now that demon hunters are coming into the game and they're getting their lore-based metamorphoses, which they've always had. So they didn't want to have the two classes clash. And glad I slowed down to say that. That could have been a mouthful. So what are they doing with Demonology? Well, again, Demonology has been another spec which has really been all over the place. And if you try to play it during the start of Warlords of Draenor, which I did as well, I eventually decided to play, it was crazy. The amount of management that you had to do with this spec was absolutely bananas. So, they're going for a completely unique feel with Demonology. Now, by the looks of it, I imagine you're still going to be able to summon your regular demon. But on top of that, you're now going to be able to call forth Dreadstalkers, which are the cooler Fell Hunter model, which we've seen coming in patch 6.2 in Tanaan Jungle. You're going to be able to call 2 of them, and they're going to attack their targets for 12 seconds. But look what Hand of Gul'dan does as well. When you cast Hand of Gul'dan, depending on how many soul shards you have, remember, soul shards is the resource across each spec. Demonic Fury, gone. Burning Embers, gone. So if you had 5 soul shards and cast Hand of Gul'dan, the meteor comes down, bursts, does damage, and then imps come into the fight based on how many soul shards you use. So if you use 1 soul shard, you're going to get 1 wild imp. 5 soul shards, 5 wild imps. So you're going to have your demon, plus the 2 Dreadstalkers, plus up to 5 wild imps attacking the target. But it doesn't stop there. You've then got demonic empowerment, which boosts all of your demons as well. It makes them more powerful. On top of that, you're sticking Doom on the target as a big ticking dot, which is going to do colossal damage when it ends. And then you have your Shadow Bolt filler, which is a way of getting soul shards into your inventory or into your resource management section. And then, if that wasn't enough, then you have your Demon Wrath spell as well, which is channeled and can be channeled on the move, which is going to pulse damage based on where your demons are. Pulse damage every second and hit all enemies within 10 yards. So Demonology sounds very, very cool. Very, very interesting indeed. But just get this. Again, if you were to use one of the new abilities, new spells, traits, whatever they're going to be called, when it comes in to Legion, Implosion causes all of your wild imps to be violently yanked towards the target and then explode, dealing moderate shadow damage to all enemies near them. So you have this AoE wild imp explosion, which, and I don't know the cooldown of this implosion, but if it's just on a GCD, you could literally work that into your rotation to make sure that your demon's attacking, your 2 Dreadstalkers are attacking, your 5 Wild Imps are attacking, and then just before the 12 seconds runs out for your Wild Imps, implosion. And you start to do a bit of burst, and then Hand of Gul'dan back in. And in that interim, in that time where they've been attacking, you're spamming your Shadow Bolts to get your soul shards back. Really, really, really interested to test out Demonology. Now, Destruction isn't getting much of an overhaul at all. In actual fact, it's one of the specs that they seem to be pretty happy with. So we've still got our Incinerates, we've still got our Immolates, Conflagrates, and Chaos Bolts and Havoc. They're all going to be working pretty much as standard. Slight reworking on a couple of them. So if you look at Conflagrate, for example, when you trigger your Conflagrate, it says Backdraft reduces the casting time of Incinerate and Chaos Bolt by 30% for 5 seconds instead of your next 3 Incinerates or your next Chaos Bolt. And because Chaos Bolt has a standard 2.5 second cast modified by haste, you can actually get 2 Chaos Bolts in with 1 Conflagrate. So that's how it's going to be a bang, bang. It's going to be a bang, bang. And of course, Chaos Bolts now are going to be operating off Soul Shards as opposed to Burning Embers. And it's going to take 2 Soul Shards to get one out there. Havoc, again, it's the same thing. You stick it on one target and then you damage another target and it deals the same damage to the afflicted target. But this is one thing that I like right at the end here, because Rain of Fire at the moment is absolutely useless. And I mean complete and utterly useless. It's a waste of space. But one of the traits coming in is called Channel Demon Fire. It's a channeled spell now. You don't just put an object on the floor and let it do its thing, and it's on a 12-second cooldown. Launches 15 bolts of fell fire at immolated enemies within 40 yards over 3 seconds. 15 bolts over 3 seconds. Each bolt deals moderate fire damage. If this is taking over from Rain of Fire, perfect. Perfect. Because we then have a Rain of Fire-esque ability, but it's actually got what appears to be on paper a bloody good use. And because we've got tri-spec, quad-spec, by the way, if you're a druid, before anyone starts panicking, because we've got tri-spec and quad-spec coming in Legion, I can now have Affliction, Destruction, and Demonology. One thing I've always wanted. One thing I've always wanted as a Warlock. So we can literally test out all of the specs at the same time. We don't have to go back to our trainers and learn one, find another one. So Destruction, it's still got very much the same playstyle, but a few extra little tricks up its sleeve. So going through all those details, just having a look at the base of what they're trying to do with each spec, I've got to say, very excited to test out playing a Warlock in Legion. Let me know, Lockites, what you think in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.